Hello, welcome to today's lesson. Today we're going to be learning about proportional segments of triangles cut by parallel lines. By the end of the day, I hope you can say, I can solve for missing sides in triangles when parallel lines pass through the triangle. Now first we need to learn our conjecture that we're going to work off of. If a line parallel to one side of a triangle passes through the other two sides, then it divides them proportionally. Conversely, if a line cuts two sides of a triangle proportionally, then it's parallel to the third side. What that's saying is if I have a triangle and a line cuts through like this, where these two sides, this side is parallel to the line that cuts through, and it's going to cut this side into these segments. X over y is going to be equal to w over z. Or we could say x over w is equal to y over z. Both of those would work out. Now, if we move to an example, since these are parallel lines and they cut through these sides, we would say x over 9 is equal to 8 over 6. Now we cross multiply and divide, and this would be 72 is equal to 6x. Divide by 6 on both sides. 72 divided by 6 is 12. So now I know this x value is 12 centimeters. All right, let's move to the next conjecture. It's a similar conjecture. It just says it extends it if two or more lines pass through two sides of a triangle parallel to the third side, then they divide the two sides proportionally. So that just means is if I'm adding more lines, so if I have A, B, C, D, E, F, you could say A over B is equal to D over E, or you could say A over C is equal to D over F. And that is only true if these lines are parallel. So if I wanted to find out F, I could say A over C is equal to D over F, or B over C is equal to E over F. Each of these sections is cut up proportionally. So let's try a couple. Now in this section, if I wanted to find X, first off we have to see that these lines are parallel. We could do 3 over 5 is equal to 2 over X. And when you cross multiply, you get 10 equals 3x. Divide by 3, and we'd have 10 thirds equals x, which we could simplify to being 3 and 1/3 equals x. And now we have x is 3 and 1/3. Now if I want to find y, I can do 3 over 2 is equal to 2 over y. And now when we cross multiply, we get 4 is equal to 3y. Divide by 3. Y is 4/3, which is 1 and 1/3. So now we have our value for x and y. However, notice that we're not doing anything with these three sides. Our conjecture doesn't tell us anything about those three sides. So, this parallel line conjecture does not work if the side is not cut by the line, such as this problem. Now, we could say 2 over 7 is equal to this value over this value. But that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for this side that's not cut by the parallel line. So in order to do that, we have to go back to making triangles. So we can say 2 over x. Now if I have this big triangle, this whole side is 9 over 18. Now the tricky part in this is drawing these two triangles and seeing that this whole side is 9 and not 7. People just want to put 7 there, but 7's only part of the way up. Now we could set this up however we'd like. You could do 2 over x is equal to 9 over 18. Or we could say 2 over 9 is equal to x over 18. Both those are reasonable, and both of them will yield the same answer. So we'd have 36 is equal to 9x, and this would be 36 is equal to 9x. And if you divide both of them by 9, x will be 4. So this is 4 centimeters. All right. Now, if I say that these values are parallel, I want you guys to take a second, pause the video, and try to find the values of x and y on your own. When you're ready, press play again. All right, hopefully everybody's done. Now to find the value of x, this side is cut by the parallel line, so that means that we can do 5 over 6 is equal to 3.5 over x. Now we cross multiply and divide. 6 times 3.5, I'll take out my trusty calculator. 6 times 3.5, it's 21. So 21 is equal to 5x. Now we'll just divide both sides by 5. And 21 divided by 5 is going to be 4.2. So 4.2 is my value for x. Now y is not cut by the parallel line. So to find y, best thing to do, draw out the triangles. 5, 6.5, and 3.5. And the big triangle is going to be y. This whole side is 11, and this whole side is 7.7. And I would do 5 over 11 is equal to 6.5 over y. Now, if you wanted to, some people like to do 5 over 6.5. So 5 over 6.5 is equal to 11 over y. You can do it both ways. Both ways you'll get the same answer because both ways we take 11 times 6.5. So 11 times, that's not a 6. Let's try that again. 6.5, 71.5. So 71.5 equals 5x. Now you take 71.5, divide that by 5, and our answer is 14.3. All right, so now we have our x and our y, and we are finished. All right, let's try this next one. Oh, this next one's the same one. It just says find y. Let's try this next one. All right, pause the video and see if you can find the value for x. All right, hopefully you're done. Now, since this one also has the bottom, we could say 3 over x, but then we'd have to say this value over that value, which we don't have. So if we're dealing with these ones, we have to draw out the whole triangle. So we'd have 3 and 4. Our big triangle is 3 plus x and 18. So now to solve for x in this situation, we have 3 over 4 is equal to 3 plus x over 18. Or we could say 3 over 3 plus x is equal to 4 over 18. Both ways we get the same answer. Now, 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times x is 4x. And 3 times 18, I think that's 54. But it's worth checking. Okay, 54 is the correct answer. Now we subtract 12 on both sides. So 4x is equal to 42. Now when I divide by 4, because this would be 42 over 4, that would be 10.5. So my x value here is 10.5 centimeters. All right. Now pause this, see what you can do on your own. And when you're ready, press play. All right, hopefully you're done. Now if you see that these are parallel, it's going to cut these proportionally. So I could say 3 over x is equal to 2 over 4. Cross multiply and divide, and our x value is going to be 6. So I have a 6 over here. If I want to find y, I could say 3 over 2 is equal to 2 over y. Cross multiply, divide by 3, and I have 4/3, which is 1 1/3. But 4/3 is good enough for me. Now a z is the tough one because it's not cut evenly. So we'd have to draw the small triangle, 3, 4, 2. The big triangle, this side would be 9, 11, z. And we could figure out this side, but if we have two sides, that's all we need for z. Because we could do 3 over 4 is equal to 11 over z. Now when we cross multiply, we get 44 is equal to 3z. Divide by 3 on both sides. 44 divided by 3 yields 14 2/3, or 14.6 repeating. It is our value for z. So 14.6 repeating centimeters. All right. Now, that's the same one. Now here's the next one. Everybody take a second, try to solve this, and see how well you do on your own. All right, hopefully you're finished, and we can go through this. Now, this one, if we want to solve for x first, as the first thing on the list, it's actually one of the more difficult ones to solve for. Now, if I drew this small triangle here, oh, first thing I should have told you, I forgot to tell you before I paused the video, all these lines are going to be parallel. Now, if those lines are parallel, we can draw this to be 10, 20, and 22. And the next biggest one, we have a 15. This side would now be x plus 20. And this side would be w plus 22. Now to find x and w, we can set up proportions. We could do 10 over 20 is equal to 15. So let's do that. 10 over 20 is equal to 15 over x plus 20. This over this over that. Now when I cross multiply, 20 times 15 is 300. 10 times x is 10x. 10 times 20 is 200. Now if I subtract 200 on both sides, we have 100 equals 10x. Divide by 10, and 100 divided by 10 is 10. So I have x equals 10. Now that we have that, we have a couple different options. We could do another proportion here, or since we have this part, we could just do the easier equation. 20 over 10 is equal to 22 over w. And I think this is just a little bit easier to deal with. So when I do 10 times 22, that's 220. 20 times w is 20w. Now when I divide both sides by 20, my w is going to be equal 11. All right, from here, the rest of it's just setting up proportions and solving. So we could fill in 10, our w is 11. So here we got 20 over 25 is equal to 22 over z. So we multiply 22 times 25, and we get 550 is equal to 20z. Now we divide this by 20, and we get an answer of 27.5 for z. Now, if I want to find y, 20 over 30 is going to be equal to 22 over y. I'll do this in a different color over here. 20 over 30, this over this, is equal to 22 over y. Now when we cross multiply, this is going to be 660 equals 20y. Divide by 20, and it should be 33 is equal to y. All right. Now our last value, u, at the top there, since that's not cut proportionally, we have to use our little triangle over here that we already have drawn, and then we have to draw the big triangle with u up here, and we have to do one of the sides. Let's do this side because it's pretty easy to add up. 20 and 10 is 30, another 30 is 60, 60 plus 25 is 85. Now I could set up a proportion. I'll do it in black. 10 over u is equal to 20 over 85. So now we cross multiply. 10 times 85 is 850, and 20 times u. If I divide 850 by 20, I get the answer 42.5. So now I can fill in my u, and I am finished. A lot of stuff to fill in on that problem. All right. Now we have the last problem on the sheet. If we have these numbers, and now it's in a coordinate plane, let's fill out the value we know. From 0, 0 to 4, 0, that distance is going to be 4. From 4, 0 to 10, 0, I know that distance is going to be 6. That's what we have so far. Now, I know this point is 12 to the right and 5 up. So we go 12 to the right and 5 up. Now, if I want to find out this big long distance, what we could do is we could use Pythagorean theorem. Since I go 12 to the right and 5 up, that would be 5 squared plus 12 squared is equal to c squared, or 25 plus 144 is 169, and when I square root 169, I get 13. So that tells us that this whole distance is 13. Now it's tough to kind of deal with an x and a y. So an easier way to deal with this is instead of calling this y, we could say that this value, since the whole thing is 13, I can say that this is 13 minus x. So now that I have it, both of these in terms of x, let's forget about y for right now. We can write a proportion using our rule. We can say 4 over 6 is equal to x over 13 minus x. Now let's try to solve this. 6 times x is 6x. 4 times 13, is that 52? I think so. It's probably taking me longer to type it in than to think through. So 52 minus 4x. And now when I add 4x to both sides, I get 10x is equal to 52. Now if 10x is equal to 52, now when we divide by 10, we get 5.2. So 5.2 is our value for x. So come up here and write 5.2. Now we know y is 13 minus x. So if I take 13 minus 5.2, that's going to be 7.8. And now I have my value for x and y. So the trick in this problem, there were a couple of them. The first thing we had to know is that this distance, we have to use Pythagorean theorem to find this distance from 0, 0 to 12, 5. And then we have to use our proportional rules to find the values of each of those sides. Well, I hope that that made sense to you. I want you to rate how you feel about today's lesson on a scale of 1 to 5. How do you feel? Do you feel like you can solve for missing sides in a triangle when parallel lines cut through the triangle? Write down your value, and then you can work on the homework. Good luck.